that we looked at. Sorry, trying to get my screen to work here. Looking at artificial intelligence in education, and it's titled Personalizing Learning Pathways. And all of us, I'm sure, have heard about artificial intelligence and how it is changing. A lot of what I hear is from the teacher side of saying, oh my gosh, students are using AI to cheat. They're using AI to do their work for them. They're using AI for all these things. But this looked at it as how we could use AI as a learning tool and also as a tool to help teachers. Not so much just kids looking up and sending a math problem to it and saying, solve this for me, but how do we use that as a learning tool? It also discussed the ethical considerations that needs to be considered. So jumping right in. Some key AI technologies, and some of these things I've started seeing. One of my principals just got something called a mirror that she can use. It's an AI mirror, and you can basically have a coaching conversation with it and walk through. I know she had an upcoming like hard parent conversation and was able to, you just look at the mirror and ask it questions, and it'll probe you and tell you things to think about. But one of the things it highlights is that it can run a small group. So the mirror could be the one guiding a small group instruction. We have not moved there yet because thinking of like high quality instructional materials is a big push. And so making sure that if we're using AI, it's some form of high quality instructional materials as well. But thinking about what technologies are available, there are chatbots, which can answer student questions and are there 24/7. Someone's always there to answer. And I say someone, the artificial intelligence is there to answer. There's tutoring systems that can be there and customized to student progress and pace based on their needs. And then also just analytics of being able to analyze the data that's coming and how to understand that and how to personalize interventions. Benefits for personalized learning, as I said earlier, it can adapt content. If you think about it, a lot of our programs do that, and that's um, with support from AI of that adapting the content to where students are. I know in the iReady, we have in our math programs, it's they're on a path and it adapts based on how they're performing. So thinking of that adaptive content, also just giving feedback. Like I was talking with the mirror of being able to give feedback to that principal right then, but thinking of how do you give feedback to students, and maybe it's through use of AI to give that immediate feedback. The other thing I know all of you have experienced struggle with hiring or keeping people in place. AI tutors and chatbots are available 24/7. So especially if there's a gap somewhere, this is a great tool where if someone's out or not there, that someone or the AI tool can be there 24/7. And also, I think something we haven't tapped into, at least in our district as much, is that efficiency and how it can make our teachers and administrators' lives more efficient. We started working with some principals just on some tools and ideas of how to make things efficient using AI. And I've learned a lot through this, but I think there's still more to learn. In the research article I did, there was a case study about AI implementation in higher education, looking at universities testing AI-powered educational tools, and the tools there are listed, but really the students reported increased engagement. I think all of us have probably experienced originally when we got technology or new technology, the kids are all excited about it and figuring out what's going on. But I think that personalized content and then also the thoughts around accelerated learning. I think that's an area we could all probably improve on. We do a lot for tutoring and for interventions, but thinking of how we can personalize. There are ethical considerations. Obviously, privacy is a huge one. Bias is a huge one in terms of it may predetermine something as the AI is generating something. Transparency, not knowing exactly how it's making its decisions. And then also, nothing can fully replace that human touch. So when thinking about like if it's running a small group or tutoring, it should not be the sole source. There should also be teachers involved in that conversation. It might be something to fill in if a teacher's not there or on a rotational basis that students are using, but nothing can completely replace having a human working through and getting to know the students. Here's a list of just different countries across the globe and what their AI is looking like. I think across the United States in particular, based on different conferences I've been to, I think we're kind of all over the place when it comes to AI. I know in our district, we're behind the eight ball. We just got a policy developed around AI, and it is very broad. I think there's a lot of fear in terms of the adults making decisions and policies don't fully understand it or know how to use it, and that's me included. The students probably know how to use it way better than we do, and so trying to understand how we can kind of get ahead of it because our kids are going to use it, and so we want to make sure we're training them to use it properly and training them in ways that are beneficial and efficient for them and for our teachers. As we're implementing AI for personalized learning, just thinking of that technical infrastructure, I know that's a lot of things within our district of just like the Wi-Fi, the connectivity in schools, making sure it's sustainable. That was a huge hurdle once we all went one-to-one in our district, and there's that many devices trying to connect to Wi-Fi all at once, and the Wi-Fi couldn't handle it. So, continuing to upgrade that infrastructure. Also, teacher training, just as I said, I think it's a daunting task for our teachers to fully understand AI because it is always changing. And so how do we prepare them to use it effectively? And then also how do we use it to collect that data along the way? And then there's always going to be disparities. And so how do we address the equity issue of we don't want certain populations being the only ones that are using the AI tools, and then just continuing to consider the ethical dilemmas that come with AI. As AI technologies continue to advance, they have potential to revolutionize education by creating this personalized learning experience. However, there's going to have to be a lot of teacher training, a lot of consideration around the ethical issues and equity of how to address that and make sure we're including everyone and the benefit of all students. Here's a link to the source, and I'll also put it in the chat when I drop that. But it was an interesting article and just something I'm trying to wrap my brain around as I use AI tools and try to make things more efficient for my own self. Hope everybody has a great day.